One day I was having a chat with my grandfather. He's your typical old-school, back-in-my-day kind of guy, a firm believer in the age-old tradition of hard work beats talent. He's lived through wars, recessions, and even that time when mullets were a fashion statement. So naturally, he's got some thoughts on our current era of smartphones and smart homes. As we sat in his living room, surrounded by relics of a bygone era, an old tube television, a record player, even an actual rotary dial telephone, he leveled his gaze at me and said, "Your generation relies too much on technology." I blinked, taken aback. Here we were, in a room that was practically a museum exhibit for outdated technology, and he was criticizing my reliance on tech. Mind you, this was the same man who would call me over to change the TV channel because he couldn't find the remote. So I did what any self-respecting, tech-savvy grandchild would do. I defended my generation. I pointed out that technology has done wonders for us. It's made communication easier, it's made information readily available, it's even made it possible for us to order pizza without actually talking to another human being. Now that's progress. But my grandfather, being the stubborn mule that he was, wasn't convinced. He still insisted that his generation had it tougher and that we've become too dependent on our gadgets, that we wouldn't survive a day without our precious technology. Well, I wasn't about to let him win this argument, so I did the only thing I could think of. I raised my voice, looked him straight in the eye and said, "Oh yeah? Well, your generation relies on technology too." And then I unplugged his life support. Don't worry, I plugged it back in. Eventually. After all, who else is going to remind me how easy I have it these days? And that, my friends, is how you win an argument with a baby boomer. At least until they need help setting up their new smartphone. Then, we're back to square one.